On the water, every second counts. So when there's a fish at 3 o'clock, be right on time with Mega 360 imaging. Every sweep of our newest technology offers 125 feet of absolute clarity all around your boat. So you can see fish and every detail in every direction. With a clearer picture of what's below, you can catch fish like clockwork. Mega 360 imaging, only from Humminbird.
All right, and welcome to another segment. We're going to get personal with none other than himself, Mr. Captain Paul Powis, ladies and gentlemen. And if you've been coming to the Spring Fishing and Boat Show, I'd say for the past 15 to 20 years, you're going to know this gentleman, and he's done a great job, and he does a lot there. So it's not just that he does seminars on the tank with how to downrig and how to troll. He's also done our Great Lakes seminars in the back rooms on Saturday mornings. And he's also done our fish cleaning, right? So he's done actually quite a bit with our show over the years, and become personal friends. I was actually friends with him when he first started, and I'm kind of really proud of my next guest. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome none other than Captain Paul.
Wow, nice intro, Andy.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. And this has been recorded, so I can play this back over and over and over again.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Paul, welcome again, dude. You know what? It's unfortunate that we have to be this way right now. And it's confusing to a lot of people because we got this past week, I'll honestly bet you we were over 500 calls and emails.
Oh, I've had people asking me, so is it on? So is it on? So is it on? And I'm like, no.
We just, you know what, Paul, like, and we, me and you, we're pretty close, right? And we think a lot alike, right? But
let's not go too far, Andy.
Okay, we'll go that far. But we
think very similar, yes.
We eat similar too. So, anyways, but the thing is like, I didn't feel that we could have produced the quality that we produced over the years, and that was the big thing because, like, you got the boats, we got the speakers, right? We got great speakers. And it's incredible how every year you bring a new dynamic to your role. Just so you know, that's a big
thank you. You got to change it up because people get bored, right?
And you've done that over all the years. I don't think I've ever watched the same show with you. And the even more interesting part, because you come down to the Toronto Boat Show with us every once in a while, and even that's different, right? I'm like, you're pretty amazing that way. So
well, I had to change it up. Like when we were doing the boat show, Andy, half the crowd, they don't troll, but they all got boats. So I switched it up probably, I'm going to say 4 years ago. I made it all about safety equipment. Yeah. VHF radios, electronics, GPS, flashlights, what you need for your boat. And it was super well received and people loved it. So I made the boat show separate from your show, and the content was totally different, but the feedback I got off it was crazy. And, there's so many new boaters in the game now, and I take it for granted. I've been doing it for 34 years, but if, one little thing that I tell somebody that helps them be safe out on the water or helps them maneuvering their boat or what's wrong or what to do. Like I see people with brand new boats that go out and buy 25 footers and they've never owned a boat. And they put it in the water and they go, okay, this is the go fast button. And that's pretty much all they know. And I sit back going, oh boy, what could go wrong? And
that reflects on all of us, though. It's something.
Well, it does. It's an industry thing, and if somebody drowns or has a mishap out on the water, I literally get sick to my stomach. Like I feel nauseous. Like the helicopters are in the sky and they're looking for people, and a boat went down, and you're out there, and you're trying to be upbeat for your clients and stuff, but damn well that people didn't make it home the night before. If you can help them out and give them a little advice ahead of time, and just safety stuff like radios and flares and the equipment they need. And if it's not a matter of if crap's going to happen, it's how much crap's going to happen.
It speaks high volumes, though. You do. You're caring about people. I would have never thought you cared about anybody. But it shows that
I get that a lot, Andy, and that's good. It's all a facade, so people don't bug me. That's all it is.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good that I think we all have to kind of a lot of times look out for one another, and especially in these times. This COVID situation has brought out so many new boaters and like guys that have bought boats and they don't know what the hell they're doing.
No, like it's little simple things like like I keep a dock in the marina, so I go down the channel, and there's 50 boats in the channel, and you go past the guy, and they lose their mind because you're passing them, and it's like you're waiting for a boat launch. I'm going in to clean fish and take pictures for my clients, and it's okay for me to go around you. I'm not going to hit you. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. But like guys like, dude, wait your turn, and I'm like, so my alter ego wants to come out sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, bite your tongue. They don't know any better, right? But like absolutely losing their mind because I'm passing them at half a mile an hour and got 20 feet to the side of them, and just I'm good. You're fine. Don't worry where you are. Keep it in gear. And the biggest challenge that I noticed last year, and not to vent, and we'll move on from there. Everybody looks forward, and they got the boat in reverse, and they're all looking forward. Turn around and see which way you're headed, because there could be boats there. There could be.
That's true.
There could be. Like I've seen guys run their boat in reverse right into the side of a dock and then other boats and everything. Don't be afraid to get everybody. And I tell people this on my boat all the time. I take out 6 clients, Andy. I go, if you see something that you think I should know about, please do not be afraid to tell me. Yeah, and my customers have told me, like, you only got one set of eyes and you're looking everywhere for everything. You're not just looking for fish biting. You're looking for hazards in the water. You're looking, and like guys will go, Paul, what's that? And I go, oh my God, that's a net. And it's like, turn the boat and get out of the way. And I didn't see it. And it wasn't there 2 minutes ago, but you're wandering around and you're doing other stuff, setting rods there. And I have no problem with that. I go, and there's guys, what's that? And I go, that's fine. That's just a little discoloration of the water, but it's fine for them to tell you because they tell you more good stuff than they do bad. And I had a customer tell me that, what's that over there? And I look and I go, that's really weird. And I look, and it was a sailboat, and it was in the water, and there were 3 people in the water.
Wow.
And a customer saw it. And, I'm locked on where I'm going, and I'm keeping a visual as to my, make sure no hazards, everything else. And it was way off in the distance to the point that I couldn't see it. I put the glasses on, my binoculars, and it was actually a sailboat tipped over. Wow. And there were people in the water. So we spun around and plucked them out of the water. And it was crazy. And you feel good about it. But, that's what we're supposed to do when we're out there. You help people. So, that doesn't happen a lot, but it's important. So, new boaters, I encourage them, power squadron, get a little time under your belt and learn. But like, everybody goes, it's only the Great Lakes. I fish the ocean a lot, as you know, and I've been on most of my crappy days are on Lake Erie, not out on the ocean. So it kicks up and can be nasty, right? So,
well, it can be anywhere. And you know what? Sometimes not even just the nastiness part of it. Sometimes it's just when you get a lot of boat traffic is where you need to have even more skills. And like I know we can go on some of the smaller lakes, and when those locks open up and those boats are coming through, like, hey, some of those boats they're ripping her, and
it's full contact.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's all contact.
Well, I don't drive fast in the marina. Some people think I might. I do till I get in. But once I'm high profile and the boat's all logoed up and everything else, and I don't want to be that guy, And people are tied up on their docks, and like a lot of the docks don't even leave the marina. So the last thing you want to be is that guy that goes rustling by somebody when they're pouring a glass of wine on their back deck having dinner, and you're that guy that just rocked their boat. So I'm super careful of it when I'm fueling and the rest of it. And some people, they're oblivious to it. And I think once they learn the proper etiquette and how-tos, it makes them better boaters. You don't lose your mind on it. You tell them nice. If they do it a couple times in a row, then
I feel like we're at a show right now.
Maybe the alter ego comes out. But all good.
Dude, it's okay. Let's get into I want to get into your career, because
I want to say one thing before we do that. I've done 1 million seminars with you, and my feet always hurt at the end of the day. I can be barefoot on this one, like these Zoom calls, right?
You probably are.
That's good. That's good. Feet won't swell up. Andy and I always have sore feet by day 3 of the show.
Well, it depends. Sometimes I'm sitting on the stage while you're doing all the work.
Good point. Good point.
You don't see me sitting back there, just so you know.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about today, buddy?
Well, the whole thing about our episodes this year is just getting to know who our friends are at the show, who you guys are, and it's just kind of because you've been doing this with us a long time, and a lot of people that have been coming to the show, and we get people that just come and they want to hear you because every year you do something different, but you teach them something different. But like, how many years yourself have you been? Have you always been a fisherman, or when did you excel your game?
I have always been an angler ever since I was a kid. I shouldn't say this out loud, but I will. I used to skip school to go fishing, like all the time.
Wow. And now my kid's going to friggin' fail school because of you.
Well, that's okay. Andy, one of my best ever, and this priest is long retired, but he'd be like, Paul, I didn't see you in church on Sunday. I say, Father, Christ was a fisherman, correct? Yep. I said, he'd understand. And he says, that's in the top 10 of all time, of all the excuses he's heard. So I've been doing it a long time. Fond memories of being a kid and going out with my dad and my brothers, and we'd go away for the weekend. And that was a way of my dad to tell my mom, I'll take the kids. I got 3 brothers besides myself. So the four brothers and dad would take off to the lake for the weekend. Mom would do her thing without kids and husband, and dad would get brownie points for getting the monsters out of the house. So we used to do that all the time. And
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have super fond memories as a kid driving up to the lake and towing like a 14-foot aluminum to go fishing for a week up in Kawarthas or wherever. And I passed like a 20-footer on a trailer, and oh my God, can you imagine? And like some of the boats I fish on, like I was just in Dominican and I fished on an 86-foot with a 22-foot beam. And I was just like pinching myself going, this isn't real. So come a long way, and the fishing game's been good to me. I love it as much as anything. And it countered my other job. I worked law enforcement for 38 years. And a lot of guys get stressed out because they don't have hobbies and the rest of it. And the fishing changeover for me has been a big positive. So
your piece.
Yeah. So
good for you. I just wanted that because you said that thing about school and stuff, right? We had a science teacher. He was the best, eh? And we used to always ask him, sir, I really need to get this last class off. It's the weekend. We need to get to our fishing spot. I promise we'll bring you a big fish you can dissect on Monday. What? He loved us, right? Go, get out of here.
Yeah.
The best guy. Hey, you know what? We weren't doing bad things, and you weren't doing bad things. It was a lot of it was very educational. I think that fishing a lot of times creates patience and it teaches us a lot more, right? So
yeah, for sure. And the friendships that come through it and the interaction, and like I meet people through the fishing genre that I would never cross paths with ever. And
have you ever had like someone like who would you say? I don't want to say most important because you have important, but someone that you will never forget you had on your boat.
Oh, thousands, Andy. Thousands.
No Elvis Presley. Who'd you have on your boat that you'll never forget?
Jimmy Hoffa, Elvis Presley. No. I've had some celebrity people out, and they would be annoyed with me if I was to say, but I get a lot of regulars that just hit home. Like my favorite charter is a father and son, or grandpa, son, like 3 generations all in one shot. And I've been doing it a long time. I've had clients that I found out they passed away, and the one in particular, and I won't say his name to protect the family, but I went to the church and he was wearing a J&P Fishing Charters hat and a J&P Fishing Charters t-shirt in his casket. And I'm not gonna lie, I was super uncomfortable. And the whole eulogy was about him going fishing and going fishing and going fishing. And I'm like, it was almost like a really bad commercial that you're overemphasizing it. Yeah. And I'm like skulking down. And then, as luck would have it, the family booked a charter for me in the spring. This is when I was still doing Kincardine. And they brought his ashes out on the boat, and they sprinkled his ashes from the boat. And I was honored to be, like, the guy was a good customer and a fun guy. But one of the things that we caught a nice salmon, and I went to release it, and I said, "This one's for your dad, release it." And the one son says, "You know my dad, and you knew my dad very well, and you will be struck with lightning if that fish does not go in the cooler and you let it go." and we kept it, and had a laugh. And the boys still come out, and they're bringing their kids as well. So that's the nice part of it. And you see the kids growing up, and I tell some of them, I got some 20-year-old kids that have been fishing with me since they're 5. And I go, "I remember you couldn't even get on the boat by yourself. And now look at you. You're all, muscles and working out guys and this and that." And they do a good job. But I like the family charters because it reminds me of when I was a kid and going out with my dad and my brothers and doing that. So that's kind of special for me. But like, I do a lot of corporate stuff. I do a lot of family stuff, and it's just a nice mix. My clientele is unreal, and they become family over the years. So that's kind of cool.
Well, you know what? To me, that was a big thing too. Growing up, like getting with my dad, my grandfathers, my uncles, and fishing was huge. Right? It was that's what brought us together, and it was the church of the outdoors on Sundays. I hate the
church of the outdoors. Look at
well,
you.
we did our church thing, being Italian and growing up. But I'll tell you, but on those Sundays, my dad worked 6-7 days a week, and when he had a chance to get out, it was a lot. And those
That's what we did,
right? So, but Paul, I've known you long enough to know the weird about. So how did you I know you're a tough guy, but I know you're soft. I bet if I were you, I'd probably see tears in your eyes right now. But the thing is like, I know you're a tough guy, but that story you said about your customer there, I'm sure brought a tear to your eye, because it actually brought a tear to my eye.
I was choked up. I was a mess after that. Like,
you
walk in the church.
The story. I'm not going to lie to you.
You walk into the church to pay your respects, and the guy's wearing you walk up, and I was blown away. He's wearing an actual J&P Fishing Charters hat and a shirt, and it was like the eulogy from the priest to the other speakers and everything was loved his fishing, loved going on with Cap, loved and we make it fun. Like, if I got kids on board, I let them pick lures, and they put a lure out, and we caught that fish on the lure you picked, and I let them take a lure home, and we keep it interactive in the rest of it. Like, we tend, as anglers and especially charter captains, we tend to lose track of that it's all about fun. And I get guys that lose 6-7 fish in a row. Am I gonna lie to you and say it doesn't annoy me? I bite my tongue and I go, "Okay, let's not get a little crazy, and what you did wrong." Yeah. And I learned after 34 years of running a charter boat that yeah means I'm not listening to you. I don't care what you're saying. I'm gonna do what I want. Leave me alone. So I'll say, "Just lift the tip up a little more." Yeah. Just wind a little faster on the reel. Yeah. And they do what they want. And there's fish that are so well hooked that you couldn't lose them if you tried to knock them off with a paddle. But there's other fish that are just like this, and they're not going to make it to the boat. And I say this all the time. Little kids and ladies are my best clients. And people say, "Why do the girls catch more fish than the boys?" And probably going to get a bunch of guys upset with me, but I tell them all the same thing, because they listen. And we catch a lot of fish, and we let a lot go. So Erie's on fire. It has been for forever. And the last 7 years, it's just been stupid, the amount of fish that are there. So it's crazy.
Well, and that brings us, we talked about this earlier about you actually used the trailer all from all the Great Lakes, and now your home is Erio, right? Is that correct? Erio?
Yeah, that's my niche market. That's and as you do a long time, Andy, you get a little complacent. It's like I fished Leamington for several years in a row for that early bite to get on them as earlier on in the year. And now it's into, if you're doing a charter, only one on a day, you're up at 5 a.m. to be in Leamington for 8. and then you take the guys fishing, you clean their fish, you put all the stuff away, and you're
Yeah.
not getting home till late at night. And it's like, man, that was a long day. When I'm in Erie, I live there. I stay there for the summer, do my thing, and like I literally get up at 6:30 and shower, have breakfast, and I'm to the boat at 1:45. Like I can do all that in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and
And
I think for you, this has always been a passion. Like I know it's a
yeah,
you do pretty good in what you do because I know all the guys that come with you, but it's a passion driven.
yeah, for sure it is. And again, we like the clients, and the biggest thing, and you asked me this before we came on, what got me into this, and I've always loved fishing, and I've always liked the nice boats and the nice toys and the rest of it. And over the course of all these years, my clients have bought me a really nice boat, and I run top of the line equipment, and it's all about the fishing for me. I like the chase. I like the figuring it out. I enjoy the hunt. I like the fellowship of the other guys at the dock, and kibitzing and carrying on. And as much as we complain about the wind and being rough and the rest of it, sometimes Mother Nature gives you a day off where you can fix the boat and hang around the marina and power wash it, and eat dinner before dark, and you just put it all together, so it all works out.
So over your years, as I know you're focusing on Erio, and I think past couple of years you haven't traveled, but I remember you telling me that you in the wintertime you spend a lot of time down in Miami, or was it Miami or Florida Keys?
Not Miami, Florida Keys, Florida, Bahamas, Panama. I've been all over. I've been very fortunate with JP to invite myself on a lot of his excursions, and been to Panama, been to Guatemala, been to Costa Rica, been to Mexico, been to Hawaii, and almost every one of my trips I go on is fishing related, and people are on me all the time. Do you take your wife? And I go, my wife never goes on these fishing trips. And they're like, oh my God, I can't imagine. And the upside for me is I heard my wife probably 10 years ago tell somebody that when I'm not home, her workload's cut by 70%. So I'm doing her a favor by not being home, Andy.
I think your wife and my wife are probably best friends.
Well, she gets it. She knows that's my passion. And like, now that they're like, one of the things that's been holding me back is getting the tests to get home. And I snuck in a Dominican trip and a Mexico trip in November before the latest run of Omicron and all the rules and regulations that go with it. And we pulled that off, and I've been hesitant to go, but I'll probably be gone again in a week or two, and go down to Florida. And then like the guys with the big fishing boats, they chase the marlin. So wherever that bite is, they move their boats accordingly. So right now, most of the guys are in Florida for the sailfish bite, and then they'll start branching out and do Bahamas. And there's some tournaments and stuff going on there that,
Wow.
yeah, so it's nice. So if you can handle yourself on the boat and know how to get fish in the boat and the rest of it, people are excited about inviting you along on. And I'm like, if I can go fishing and hang out on your boat and maybe have a few cocktails at the end of a nice day in a beautiful setting like the Bahamas, why wouldn't you? So that's what we do.
So, over the years, we've kind of picked your brain for all your talents, right?
Yeah.
But you became the fish cleaning guy, like at the show,
Yeah.
like, and honestly,
I'm the fish cleaning guy. I don't have a real name. I'm the fish cleaning guy.
No, but I'm saying it's like it's probably one of the most like seminars that people want to see. Like,
Yeah.
what time is that on at? What time is that on at? Right?
Crazy.
And, it's incredible, like it's how packed it is when people come to watch you clean.
It is, and it's funny. You and I have had this conversation. I look down and I make a cut, and I look, and there's 25, 30 people there, and I talk and I cut and I cut, and then I look up, and it's like, holy crap, where do they all come from? There's 100 now.
People standing, people sitting, people. It was crazy.
Well, no, it's good, and there's good interaction with Benny too. And where else can you go? You can sit down and learn something. You learn techniques on how to keep your fish, how to keep them in proper order, because it's food, right? So you got a lot of guys will just show you how to clean it, but You need to ice it. You need, like, I bleed it, I clean it, I wash it. You clean your board. You don't want to use the same board over and over and over again where it's dirty and you got the chance of mold or bacteria on food that I see this all the time. Guys will wash their hands 15 times handling chicken, or worried about this cutting board versus that cutting board, but they'll take their fish and throw it in a garbage bag and take it home. Like, it's a big no. Garbage bags have carcinogens. They have chemicals in the actual plastic. They make a food grade bag, so you want your fish to go in a Ziploc clear. And the reason they're clear is it's food grade, because there's no added color or chemical or anything else. Like, I tell that a million times over the summer. I got a garbage bag they put in their cooler. I go, you're not putting your fish in a garbage bag. What do you mean? Yeah. I go, it's a garbage bag. It's for garbage. It's not for human consumption. So little nuances like that, people understand that. So the fish cleaning guy it's been a big stigma for me. And one of the coolest stories ever. I was in Costco. This is 10 years ago. And there was a gentleman in a wheelchair, and he's talking to his wife, and he goes, it's him. And she goes, no, it's not. And he goes, it's him. And I'm there to get just some cashews. I'm literally grabbing them and putting them in my cart. And they're having this discussion about, it's him. No, it's not. I'm sure it's him. No, it's not. So, and part of me was like, you know what, just get your cashews and get the heck out of here. We don't need to do this right now. And it was so satisfying when I turned around and said to the guy, I says, it's me. Well, my goodness, he almost teared up, and he was so happy that he was right and his wife was wrong. And, you get recognized, but I get the fish cleaning guy a lot. But
they love you.
What it is. There could be worse things they could call me, Andy.
Well, it's, what, it's not. I wouldn't take it as an insult.
No, it's not. It means they saw the show. And the other thing that's crazy is I have people, like, I center them out, and you've seen me. I'll say to the guy, how many flipping times have you watched this seminar? And I've had guys that have been coming to that seminar for as long as I've been doing it. And I'm like, you've been watching me do this for over 20 years. And they're like, yep. And then they'll see me on Friday, and they'll say, what time you on tomorrow? And they're back again the next day. And I'm like,
you should say, here's the knife. You want to do it?
Well, that's it. Like, remember the one time we had a lady at Bass Pro Shops, a young woman that she really wanted to learn how to clean fish, cut fish, and she was working for Mustang. Yeah, and we brought her up on stage, and I was like, man. And we put the glove on her and the apron, and it was interactive, and she did such a good job, and almost pushed me out of a job. But it's just, people want to learn. And then, we send some fillets home with people here and there, and with Benny cooking it, it's just a good setup. So
it's fun. And I don't know, I kind of told you about our ice fishing show. And this is the first time we're going to announce this, so you're going to know this, right? But you're not allowed to participate. You're going to be a judge, right?
What am I judging? Bikini contest?
If they're filleting fish with the bikinis, I guess.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm sorry, it's a fish filleting. Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna Victoria's gonna be putting out a contest the next little while, and we're gonna invite people to send in a video on filleting fish, and we're gonna and then we're gonna draw 5 guys, maybe 10, we don't know yet.
5 people, not 5 guys, 5 anglers.
5 anglers, right? And then we're gonna have a fish cleaning competition. And I'm not gonna take the credit for this, because I seen it. They did it in a Winnipeg show, an ice fishing show, and they did a really good job. So and I thought, you know what, man, we got to do this at our show. But we're going one step further. So we're going to invite people to send in videos on our Facebook page, and they're going to be eligible to be parts. And we're going to put together a big prize pack that. So it'll be based on the time, but again, has to be, if it gets close, then we're going to have to ask our captain here to make the judgment call who's the winner is, right? Yeah, so those are
So
really pretty
is
cool.
it totally speed based or waste and
Well,
speed or
I think
just
it's going to
best
be a
job
combination.
overall, or what are you thinking?
No, I'm thinking. Well, what's your input? I'm thinking we're gonna do speed. I think that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
But I think waste. I think the speed less the waste. So I think we need somebody who's non
Okay, so we
Barcelona.
give them points for speed. We give them points for how close to the bone, and yeah, we can work on that for sure. That'd be fun.
All right,
Uh,
so we're gonna have to put together a guideline that we're gonna have to put on our
yeah,
website
yeah,
and show people. But I think it'll be fun because it gets interactive
sure.
you
And
know
that's
what?
what people want. They especially now they're they're locked in their house and they want to do something. Like I'm retired and my neighbors, they're like, and I'm a little bit antsy. They're like, how many flipping times can a guy shovel his driveway in a day? And I'm like, oh, I got nothing else to do. I may as well shovel it while it's a little lighter. I've done mine twice already this afternoon.
Well, it started up here too. So, but
What?
Paul, I'm going to tell you, it's always a pleasure, dude, having you on board. And
That's cool.
the good thing is now we don't. Well, we do see each other through the year, but the thing is we don't. People won't have to wait till the spring fishing show because that will be back next year. But you're going to be at the Ultimate Ice Fishing Show, and that'll be in November.
Yeah,
And it'll be a lot of fun. And
right on.
but you know what? For people that do can't get enough, and now that you've had an opportunity to listen to Paul and who he really is, you could easily go on the J&P Fishing Charters, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and you got a website, or how do they get a hold of you?
jpfish.com.
Just jpfish.com. So,
Yeah.
and honestly, like, and not because he's here, but I've sent so many of my friends that have now made it an annual trip for them that go every year, and that's how much fun they have going on as
And
boats.
that's what happens, and that's one, and that's the great part about being in business for a long time in customer service. The tricky part is the new customer that came last year once, because that's all the time I had to take him out. He wants to go 3 or 4 times. He wants to bring his neighbors, wants to bring the guys from work, wants to bring his family. The wife would love this. The kids loved it, this and that. So my biggest challenge now is juggling the book. So not to sound like an infomercial, but if somebody wants a date, call me soon, because and I don't know if it's a COVID thing, Andy, or people just locked up so much.
People want to get out. You know what I mean?
But I typically am not, like, I'm booked way crazier today than I have been in other years. And last year I said the same thing, but
Yeah.
people are getting smart. They want a Saturday or a Friday. They know that there's only so many, and early bird gets the worm. So if it's something you're considering, or you're, like, some people are like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're all booked up? And like, one of the things that happens a lot to me is I'll get a call on a Thursday in the middle of July. You got anything open Saturday? I'm like, I haven't had a Saturday since a year ago. Like, there's people that book the same weekend every year, and like a lodge type thinking, right? So if it's something you're thinking about, talk it over with your friends, get a date on the books, and we'll make it happen. I hate leaving people hang, but that's one of there's only so many dates, and Mother Nature always gets the final say. And we had a really windy July last year, and it kicked us in the head. We canceled half our charters because of it.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. But the thing is what you said makes sense, because most people make it an annual trip, and with that annual trip, it becomes like, that weekend's gone. Like, you might be thinking, okay, I'll take that weekend, but the odds are that person's going to probably come back because he enjoyed himself, right? So,
and it's all about the annual trips, right? Like, you got your guys that you hunt with and you fish with, you do your stuff. As soon as it gets a little hiccup, like, not that COVID's a little hiccup, but one of the guys in the group, his daughter's getting married this year, so they postpone it, and a lot of times it's hard to get them back in the circle again and coming back. And like, I had a charter 2 years ago. I hadn't seen the guys in 12 years. Wow. And they had shirts done up of them all wearing Larry Bird shorts and big mustaches, and they had the t-shirts on of when they were out with me so many years before. And I was like, holy cow, boys, this is kind of funny. But guys, they go crazy, Andy. I get some guys that, they everybody brings different kind of venison,
Yeah.
sausages, and I got to try them and decide whose is the best. And other guys have trophies for the biggest fish, and other guys have a pot that you throw $2 in every time you lose one, and the biggest fish gets the pot plus all the guys that lost. And like, and they I think I told you the story of my Italian guys show up and they got the little barbecue for doing the spadooch in the parking lot, and they're cooking this up, and I had a bunch of young Amish kids that they're get off the boat, and the Italian guys are feeding these Amish guys from Milverton spadooch, and they're like, they've never had anything like that before. So it's pretty cool. Like the guys set up hamburgers and
My
like
paisans, it's my paisans.
all with the spadooch machine, and it's a little barbecue, and they turn all the stuff. And I'm like, hey guys, great lunch, but let's go fishing or I have to have a nap. So they show up and they take over the parking lot, and we do a couple big groups, Andy, that are 10-12 boats, where the guys show up by bus and they're organized and they got the coolers and big fish contest, and everybody that's there throws in $10 for the biggest fish, and somebody will take home $600-700 cash for the big fish on a paid work trip. So it's fun. They do. They're very creative. Like I get some people that they get T-shirts made up. They bring out the banner of the company and they get their pictures taken in front of it, and like the red carpet. And you get the other guys too that all show up with their little bag lunch, jump on the boat, go fishing, and go home. And it's up to the customer. The boat's yours for your 6 hours, and all they have to do is provide a lunch and some drinks and their fishing license. And one of the big things we've had the last few years, I get guys, I go, what, no lunches? And my one customer, he goes, why would we even bother? We don't have time to eat it when they're out there. The fishing's so good. So he leaves the cooler with all the sandwiches and stuff in. We come in after the pictures are done and I'm cleaning the fish, they sit and have a big lunch spread at the picnic table and we used to do it on the boat. And it's like, they can't eat us, can we slow down on how many rods we put in? Because we want to have a bite to eat here. So the fishing is that good. Erie is an actual fish factory.
Well, maybe I'll come with JP this year or something. Or I'll come with the Fars. They keep inviting me to come, so I don't know.
With the who, sorry?
The Fars.
Dave Farr and the boys. Yeah, I haven't seen them in a couple of years either. But
it's so cool.
No, that's good. Good cruise. And who Andy's talking about, his kid used to work for him. And then for years, the dad and the uncles were going. And then he actually he told his son he could finally come along. But I think they brought him along just so he'd drive home. But anyways, good crew of guys for sure.
Paul, I have to tell you, like always, man, you are the most informative person I know. And I can tell you right now, come to the Spring Fishing Show next year. Actually, come to the Ultimate Ice Fishing Show, and you're going to have an opportunity to meet this man in person. And I don't think you'll learn. Like when it comes, like he is so precise in everything he does. And just listening to him talk, I'm telling you right now, you will learn. You will
learn one way or another. No,
you got no choice. You're gonna learn, kid.
That's it.
Yeah. So, anyways, Paul, I appreciate it, dude, and we'll see you, I guess, in hopefully a couple of weeks, or maybe we'll see you in a few months for sure. We'll see you in November, and that's it. Thank you very much for coming on.
Hey, no problem. Anybody has any question, and that's the other thing, Andy. Without being at the show, like I get guys that show up with a pad and paper of their whole questions from a year that saw me do something with JP and that not you tied or whatever. I'm approachable. Fire me an email. Like this time of year, I'm not doing a whole lot. I got 2 jobs. I cook and I walk the dog. And 3, I shovel the snow. So I'm available for questions. And if I got a few new sponsors this year. I'm running some new baits that are coming out that I'm really excited about, that I've had a couple of years to try. The business as good as anybody, Andy. They don't just throw lures out there and say, hey, they've been out for a year, sometimes 2, working out details and the rest of it. And we got some game changer baits that I've been kicking the crap out of fish with that I'm excited to share with people. everybody knows I'm a Shimano Pro staff. The rods and reels are incredible, and it makes a big difference with the line counters. And there's a lot to learn. Like just because, like what we alluded to earlier, Andy, you buy a new boat, that's fun if you just want to go boating. But once you learn how to go boating, then you want to learn how to go fishing and get out there and catch those fish. What's that? Sorry?
You're okay with that? A guy comes on boat and learns how to fish, and then he takes it to his own, whatever.
I've been doing that for years, Andy, and it's a big, strong part of my business. I saw the opportunity years ago at your show. I used to put a booth in there. Now I don't need to, but guys would come up and say, "Oh, I gotta," and other charter guys wouldn't even talk to them. Oh, he's got his own boat. He don't need to come out with me. Yeah. I probably do 25% of my people have their own boats. They want to learn how I set it up. Why do I do this? Why do I do? And you can tell right away, like anywhere from some guys making notes, other guys taking videos, and little subtleties like the one thing I get asked all the time: why is there different colored line on all the reels? And I'll go, so I can see them when you got a fish on, you got a fish on, and you got a fish on, and one's got blue line, one's got yellow line, one's got green line. I can go green over yellow, yellow under, and if they're all yellow, I'm toast.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Little stuff like that, and then the next thing they're spooling up and changing stuff up, and lure selections and colors, and I don't mind that because you've hired me for 6 hours. Like you want one-on-one, that's the best way to do it. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Well, I do this because of this. Well, why is your rigger? They're downrigger this. Why do you use the fish hawk for speed? Why do and with COVID, a lot of people, some will ask me questions, and I had people like at Christmas time, I was busy as anything for folks emailing me saying, "Hey, I want to buy something for the family boat. What do you think of this? What do you think of that?" So the same thing we usually, and then typically we do the boat show, and then we go to your show. And guys gather all that stuff up, but with merchandise, like nobody doesn't know this. Getting equipment's tough. Like if so a lot of times if a guy can't find something in the GTA, I'll send them. I'll say, well, Aerial Marina's got it, or Natural Sports has got it, or Angling Sports have got it, and the same holds true. I'll send Kitchener guys to JB's that I'll say, go see Brian. He's got what you need, but. Yeah. It's hard getting stuff, and guys are having a tough go with it.
And that's one of the reasons why we chose, as much as it would have been great to have a smaller type of version of our show, I just don't think the people would have been satisfied enough in being able to get the product.
And the timing's tough, Andy. They're just letting restrictions go now, right? Like move them back a bit, and your show typically starts tomorrow, right? So you're telling me there's no breakfast tomorrow?
No. Next year we'll do something at the ultimate show, I promise you. So there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes at the spring fishing show that we take a lot of pride in, and everybody's a part of. And we're gonna next year, I'm not gonna mention who, but there's gonna be a big retirement party for next year's spring fishing show, so be ready for that one. So
nice.
Won't be mine.
You know me, Andy, when you have your show, I go to bed like right after show closes. I'm in my room sleeping for the next day. I don't partake in any of that stuff.
Yeah, you're right in bed.
Did I say that? Did I say that with a straight face?
Let me be honest. You go to bed so that way you can stay up later.
Man, it's getting trickier. I'm 62 now, buddy. It's getting a little trickier. So, but no, always a good time. You guys put on a good show. And if I can just say one last thing here before we part, I think we're ready to go, is that your family puts on a really good event. And, we've had our differences about, you running me from one end of the room to the other and back and forth. And I'm on a seminar and that seminar and this. And I just sometimes I go crazy, but you guys do a really nice job, and it's a family thing. But what people don't realize, that these same people that are saying, how come there's no show this year? It's not something that just happens. I get the same thing with the charter boat. Oh my God, is this ever nice? The boat. I go, oh yeah, there's hours and hours and weeks and months that go into something to pull it off the way you do. And that's all stuff that people don't look at. They just show up and the boat's in the water and it's all shined up. There's no dirt on anything. All the lines fresh on the reels. The hooks are sharp. Your show's the same thing. Like if something, I've seen the time lapses you've done for setting up the show. People need to watch that because I'm there and doing it every time. But, you know, on the Wednesday, Thursday, it's just rods and reels and equipment and vehicles. And then you know it's about to happen when the carpet goes in and the curtains go up, and then it's welcome to the fishing show. And it's a blur. Like, you can't wait for it to start. And then once it gets going, it's like, wow. And it's over. So the fact that we haven't done it for a couple of years, it's crazy, but there's a good group of people, and from customers to all the, you know, the lodges, and, you know, we have to shop different. Like my kids are like, Dad, that fish batter you have, where do you get that? I go, I got it at the spring fishing show, and I haven't been there in a couple of years. And it's like, well, let's track down the manufacturer who has it, you know. And it's usually you just walk by a guy's booth on a Friday and you make sure you get what you need for when you leave on Saturday. But shopping's a lot different now without having that. So hopefully we're back to normal, and you guys will do this fish cleaning thing, and you're not going to run. I won't be doing fish cleaning seminar or trolling seminars, but I'll be doing some fish cleaning seminars, I guess, then, huh?
Oh, yeah, you'll be doing fish cleaning seminars. So save those walleyes.
Sweet. Well, that's the other thing. I can't save them. I got to buy them. So
we'll get them. Yep. Anyways, dude, I want to say thank you very much. And for all the folks that tuned in, honestly, go to the website, and he's got a contact information there where you can go right directly and ask the question.
Perfect.
And I'll tell you right now, like, I know that Paul's very eager to answer those questions, and it'll always, take my word for it, I can guarantee it'll always be good advice. So, Paul.
All right, Andy. Well, thank you and for this opportunity. And what are you going to do? Like, you haven't had this weekend off in 20 years.
Dude, we're working all weekend. We got all these seminars going through, and believe me, and you
can cut this part out if you want, but I know the girls will be working hard.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Victoria's become a machine, and so has Vita. He always has been, but you know, with the girls, like, you know, comes to the Victoria and Nicole, they definitely make my life a little bit easier.
That's good.
I can't complain. So thank you very much, Victoria. She laughs in the background.
Yeah, she's like, he doesn't mean it. He's just doing this for TV.
Yeah, she's watching you, dudes.
All right. Well, that's great. And let me know if you need anything. And like I said, if people want to go on my website, and I'm on social media, I'm not hard to find. If you have a question related to trolling or Great Lakes or fish cleaning or whatever, I'll answer them, because there's not much on Netflix right now. So I'll take the time to figure it out for you.
Sure, I've watched everything on Netflix. It's so true. But you know what? If you really need to get a hold of them, go to Costco. Skip behind them. You'll know.
Is that him? It was funny. It was a good story. It's him. I knew it was him. I have a distinct voice, and this guy was, I think it's him. No, and they were back and forth. It was funny. It was cool. So that's from a little more personal side. But, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I love it. My son helps me as much as he can. He's got a real job now, so he can't do it full time. But we spend a lot of time down there together, and it's a family-run business, and we put a lot of walleyes in that big Yeti cooler for sure. So.
Okay, buddy, and I'll be looking forward to some and the wings.
Oh my God, yes!
Drop them off anytime you want. Next time you're going to JP's house, I don't live far from him. You can.
I very rarely go to JP's house. He usually comes my way and stays down at the lake with me for a day or two, and we get out and see what kind of trouble we can get in and try. You know, it's a good place to try out new tackle and see if it works. You know,
you can always send some home with them. How's that sound? Make it even better.
And you really think you're going to get it?
Yeah, I think
you got to catch your own, Andy. Bring Benny down. Bring Benny down, and I'll cook and make sure there's no cheese in the fish dinner. Right? Right? Is that a good idea?
I can't wait till he watches this. All right.
All right,
very
buddy.
much. I love you, brother. Take care of
Thank you.
yourself. All right. We'll
All
be
right.
seeing you
Bye-bye.
shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Powis, and if you come to the show, he's very informative, and I sometimes I piss him off because like I'll be asking him questions in the middle of his seminars, and I'll be bugging him. But he's very informative, and people, and he's right. Like we'll see the same guy sometimes come 3-4 days come back just to watch his seminars, and and you're always learning something. He's entertaining, but you are learning something, and especially if you're a new angler that's coming into the sport, like there are to book a charter is probably one of the best ways to get to become a better fisherman and fast. So like Paul said it, if you're going out to write charters, just make yourself clear and say, hey, you know what, I just bought a boat, I want to learn more, and if you got a guy like Paul, or if you get Paul, which is probably the best thing, he'll show you what it takes and what you need, and with the cost of equipment nowadays, and you want to make sure you're buying the right equipment. Sometimes you think you're paying a little bit more, but you're getting that much more bang for your buck. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for this segment. Stay tuned. There'll be many more.
Outdoor Canada. Don't miss a single issue of Canada's only national hunting and fishing magazine. Subscribe to Outdoor Canada today.